All right, so Freeway, you and I have had a lot of interviews, but there's a couple things I want to touch on that I haven't touched on before. So the one thing I never realized was that Freeway was based on Freeway Ricky Ross.
Yeah.
From the very beginning, so your first, number one, was that your first rap name or not?
No, I had a bunch. I've been rapping since I was a kid. I had 100 rap names,
Okay, what were some of your other rap names?
Bossa Nova, a little less. I had a couple rap names.
Okay, now Freeway Ricky Ross is in L.A.
Yeah.
Drug kingpin. He's not even an East Coast dude. So what was it about Freeway Ricky Ross that made you name yourself after him?
Because I was into a lot of the same things, and then when I read his story, I was like, my old head was like, yo, that's it right there. And ever since then, I was running with it.
So you named yourself Freeway after Freeway Ricky Ross, and then you actually reached out to him in prison?
Yeah.
How early? Was that when you were already popping or before that?
I was already popping.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were able to actually call him in the feds?
I reached out to him through mutual people. You know, and I let him know, like, I'm here for you. It's all good. Pay homage on that note.
Okay, so did you guys actually talk on the phone, or was it just kind of communication?
When he got out, we talked, but when we was in jail, it was just through communication.
Okay, so when his people told him about your name, he was all good with it?
Yeah.
Okay, and then when he got out, how was that first meeting like?
It was great. It was the first time I actually met him. He was in Philly. Some guys had brought him to the city to do a show, so I pulled up on him, showed him love. And I've been to his crib in Cali. That's my old head. It's all love.
So you were rolling around Philly with two freeways in the car.
Yeah, that was major. I had him driving through my neighborhood with Freeway in the car. That was major.
That was crazy.
Right, because I heard you popped up on Beanie Siegel at one point.
Yeah, I pulled up on Beans. Beans was like, yo, you killed that. Yeah, man,
Originally, you and Peedi Crakk were like a rap group.
Yeah, Ice City.
Ice City,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And you guys were kind of popping in Philly.
Yeah, we was heavy in the streets, and then when we got into the music, it was naturally, people loved it because they knew what we was talking about was the truth. So.
Okay. So, he was kind of telling me the story.
We had a group called Ice City. Me, Free, his cousin Indy 500, and my man Hustle.
So you had this little group. Freeway was in the group.
Yeah, Ice City.
Ice City.
Shout out to Uncle Uzi. He really had a lot to do with that. He was our old head that kind of we all looked up to, and he used to put money behind us and take us to the studio, and he was the backbone. Like, we was just kids, but...
Okay, so you guys started actually going to the studio and actually laying shit down.
I've been recording since I was like 16, 17 years old.
Okay.
In the studio, we was making music. We got songs, me and Free, since we was kids. From high school, straight from high school, we both dropped out of high school. We both ended up getting locked up for selling crack and shit. And we both ended up on Roc-A-Fella Records.
Yeah, well, we was in a group, Ice City, and we started doing our thing. But I wasn't shy. I was always ready to move out and ready to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I did.
Okay, so how did you end up initially hooking up with Roc-A-Fella?
Well, we went to rap for Jay. I met Jay probably like 2 years before that in Vegas at a fight, Tyson versus Beaufort. But when we originally went to rap for Jay, Peedi was there. We all went to rap for Jay. And we drove up to New York. It probably was like 2 or 3 cars deep. We all spit for Jay. When I spit for Jay, Jay ran out the room like, yo, this nigga's crazy. He came back, and was loving it. Then, I came home. I was on a run when I rapped for Jay.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. Yeah. So when you originally rapped for Jay-Z, you had an open case.
Yeah.
Okay, and this was for possession of drugs with
attempt to deliver. Yeah.
Okay. So you rap for Jay, you get your chance of a lifetime, and then you still got this case pending.
Yeah.
So what happened next?
Me, I'm like, I'm a blow. So I ain't worried about this case. I'm a blow. Then once everything happened, we gonna get the case taken care of. So I was back home, I was on the block. I had just came from the studio, and I had jumped in the car with my man Butter to let him hear my new demo. And the cops pulled up on us. And I'm like, damn, I got these warrants. So as soon as they like jumped out to come to the car, I jumped out and darted. Ran in my house, ran out the back, tried to climb over the fence, but they grabbed me, threw me in the car. They like, oh, that's why you ran, you got these warrants, and they took me down.
Okay, and then what happened after that in terms of, your open cases?
I had to fight the case. I had a detainer because I had open cases or whatever. So my lawyer got the detainer lifted. I had to do like a couple months. Then I had to do a drug program, house arrest. I was on house arrest, and I would talk to Beans. Beans would be like, yeah, I'm in LA. When you come home, I got you. I'm in Miami. It's crazy out here. When you come home, you're gonna be right here with me. And when I got off house arrest, I started going up New York. They was working on the Dynasty and the Reason, and I landed the verse on the Dynasty album.
Okay, but at that point you still weren't signed, were you?
Nah, I wasn't signed. When 900 Hustler was out, I still wasn't signed. I was like the last one to get signed.
So you were just you were just trying to get on at that point.
Yeah, just grinding, supporting my man.
So you did how many verses for Roc-A-Fella before you actually signed paperwork?
I know we had the Coming For You on DJ Clue with me and Beans. We had a bunch of stuff that didn't come out yet, but as far as actually being out, 900 Hustler.
Okay. So then what happened after 900 Hustler?
Started taking off, and they didn't realize that it was so much going on. They didn't even realize that I wasn't signed. Cause I remember Dan was like, "Damn, we ain't signed this nigga yet." He's like, "Yo, we gotta get this nigga signed," cause it was different people was asking about me, like Puff and a couple other motherfuckers was trying to see what was going on, But I wasn't going nowhere.
Okay, like when 900 Hustler came out, because I feel that was everyone's real introduction to Freeway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That was like the big song that everyone started to really pay attention to.
Yeah.
Like, number one, how was the process of actually putting that together?
Well, we was in the studio, and they gave me the beat to go home and write to. So I took that joint home and just did the best that I could do. And I came back and laid it, and everybody loved it. And Jay was like, "Yo, this your introduction to the world. I'm gonna set you up right. I got you." And that's when he got the chick with the violin, put the little elevator music before my verse. Then first things first. And the rest is history.
Watch what you say out your mouth.
Bink was in there, me, Beans. Back then, the studios baseline used to be crazy. You liable to see anybody in that joint. Dipset in one room, State Property in the other room, Bleak and his boys in another room, Just Blaze in one room, Kanye cooking up in another room. It was amazing, man.
Okay, so after 900 Hustler came out, like, how did that feel? Like, what changed in your life?
I remember the first time when I knew it was real. There's a club in Philly called Pegasus. Well, they changed the name of the club, but it was called Pegasus. It's on 38th and Walnut. So Beans and Bleak had a show. And I was just there, I always was holding Beans down or whatever. So when the show was over, everybody getting ready to get off stage, my man cousin, he was like, "Yo, just do your verse. I'm telling you, they're gonna go crazy." So he gave me the mic, and I went to the front of the stage, and I was like, "First things first, watch what you say out your mouth." Then the whole crowd was like, "When you talking on the phone, a hustler." I was like, "Oh, shit." I was like, "Oh, man." No looking back.
That's crazy.
That's when it felt real.
Yeah, that's when it felt real.
So after that, you signed.
I mean, the whole thing was real. Like, even just being around Jay and being in the studio and cooking up, it was always real, but that's when I knew it was on for me. Like,
Right. So after that, you signed your deal?
Yeah.
Okay. And like, who actually was the one who hooked up the deal? Was it Dame?
They did it together.
Dame and Jay?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, in retrospect, was it a good deal? Was it a deal you could have negotiated a little more?
No, it was
really not matter at
definitely
that point?
a great deal for a kid off the streets. It's way better than what they getting nowadays. So